Hello everybody, Silver Picker here, and welcome to the first ever episode of Underrated, Overrated, Silver Stacker Edition. Shout out to Gary V for inspiring this episode, and without further ado, let's get into the show. Alright, I've got my editor Ben behind the camera today, and he has a list of all sorts of gold and silver bullion products that he's going to read off to me, and I'm going to tell you whether, in my opinion, they're underrated or overrated. Alright, Ben, hit us with the first one.
American Silver Eagles.
Wow, okay, so American Silver Eagles. We're already going to start with a controversial one. American Silver Eagles are overrated. Yes, I think that they are overrated. Now, don't get me wrong. I love them, I stack them, I have a whole bunch in my own personal stack and collection. I think they are a really iconic coin, but I think that they're overrated. Because at the end of the day, they are a single 1 ounce silver coin, but their premiums are insane. With premiums over 25, 30, 40, 50% or more, it's just way too high to justify buying that coin. Now, of course, if the price is lower, if you can find an ASE for spot or even 10% over spot, I say great, go for it. I think it's a great coin and a great investment. But because the market dictates what the premiums are and people are willing to pay 50% or more over spot for ASEs, well, to me, that makes them way overrated. All right, Ben, next up.
40% Kennedy halves.
Oh, yes. 40% Kennedy halves are super underrated. Yes, I've been saying that for years on my channel, that you guys should be on the lookout for 40% Kennedy halves, because for whatever reason, the market hates them. People do not like them because they have, well, less than half the silver that their, pre-1964 counterparts have, the 90% Kennedy halves, but they still take up the same amount of room, so people don't like them. But you can often find them not just for spot, but even below spot. Yes, at coin shows. And this is absolutely true. This is my experience. I have bought 40% Kennedy halves at coin shows from dealers for 5 to 10% below spot just so that they could unload them. Now, I don't know if those opportunities are that common. I certainly don't think that they are, but you can easily get those frequently for spot, and when you can, you should, because I foresee in the next few years, those are going to skyrocket, just like the 90% Kennedy halves and all the other junk silver.
Hand-poured silver.
Oh, you're giving me all the tough ones. Okay, hand-poured silver bullion, overrated. Yes, I think that they are totally overrated, even though, yes, I love them. I think they're beautiful. I love the style. I love the feel. And most of all, I love the sort of sub-community that has arisen within the silver stacking community that is so cool. It's all of these independent artists and artisans that are creating their own silver bars, really cool designs, and really pushing the limits on what you can do with silver. And I think that that is awesome as a collector. But as an investor, the premiums are simply way too high, and they account really just for the taste of the individual buyer, sort of the art side, and of course the time put into making them. But in any situation where you would need to liquidate your silver really quickly, those premiums would go right out the window, and that's why I think in terms of silver stacking or investing, those are super overrated.
The ugly Christmas sweater you're wearing.
Ooh, yes, thank you, Ben, for the promotion. Yes, these ugly Christmas sweaters are indeed underrated. Yes, these are my own design. I came out with these last year. It's got the coin collector on the front and the numismatist on the back. And these ugly Christmas sweaters last year were only available for like 2 weeks. This year I decided I'm going to have them available for all of November and all of December. So you guys will definitely be able to get some for the holiday season. I love it. It's one of my most proud designs. It's got the sort of jumble of coins of the coin collector on the front and the organized albums of the numismatist on the back. So if you're interested, you can get one for the holiday season. The links are below. I love them. It's a great way to support the channel and go to your holiday parties in style. So super underrated, if I may say so myself.
US junk silver.
Okay, finally an easy one that's not going to be controversial. US junk silver is properly rated. It's definitely not overrated because it is really the best bang for your buck you can get when it comes to stacking silver, but it's also not underrated because I think most people in the silver stacking community are very well aware of it and they know the value, and most people in terms of what they stack, they go for the junk silver. They go for that weight. They go for those dimes, quarters, half dollars, etc., and I think therefore properly rated.
Generic silver bullion.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Generic bars and rounds, overrated or underrated? Well, this one's kind of both. If they have a high premium, they're super overrated. You're never gonna get me to buy even a really cool design, even a really unique design, generic bullion piece that's got like a 25, 30, 40% premium. It just ain't gonna happen. But if you find me generic rounds that I can verify are legit, and you give them to me at no premium, right, at spot, which you can get, well then I am all for them, and I think that they are super underrated in that case. Because a lot of people sort of dismiss them because they're like, oh, well, I want the notoriety and the safety and security of having a government minted bullion round, so I don't want this generic thing. But at the end of the day, silver is silver, and there are plenty of ways to verify whether that silver coin is indeed real. And if you can get it at spot or below spot, well, you've got yourself a super, super underrated opportunity.
Utah Goldbacks.
Ho, Utah Goldbacks, yes! Now, if you're an OG fan of my channel, you already know what I'm gonna say. I love Utah Goldbacks, and they are therefore super underrated. Now, if you don't know what a Utah Goldback is, you gotta check out the video in this card right over here because I go through all the ins and outs and tell you all about it. But in short, the Utah Goldback is a bill. It's a piece of currency that's privately minted that is physically made out of 24 karat gold. That's right, it is an alternative to the US dollar, the euro, or other fiat currencies, and you have a physical gold bill that's convenient to carry and can be used in everyday commerce. You have a gold ounce coin and you want to spend it on a pizza, well, you're going to have to find a way to chisel off a little bit and you're going to have to weigh it out and all that. That's nonsense. It's not going to happen in the real world. But with Utah Goldbacks, where they range from the beginning at 1/1000th of an ounce all the way up to 1/20th of an ounce, well, then you start getting into territory where you can buy a cup of coffee or you can buy a pizza or you can get a spare tire for your car. That is a really, really cool idea. And I think it would be super foolish to dismiss something like that before it's really even gotten a chance to take hold. There's already tons of companies that are accepting Utah Goldbacks as payment, and I think that there's a lot more coming down the pike. So super underrated. Go out and get yourself some.
Morgan dollars.
Yes, good old Morgan dollars. Well, what do I think about them? I mean, the cat's out of the bag. People know that they're legit. People love them. I still think they are underrated. Yes, I think they're underrated, again, because of the premiums. Everybody knows Morgan dollars are great. They're super collectible. They might even be the most collectible US coin on the planet, right? They are super cool and super collectible, especially with the varieties and all of the key dates that are, super, super valuable when they're in high mint state. But even so, when we're talking about sort of just run-of-the-mill Morgan dollars, their premiums are so much lower than a lot of bullion like American Silver Eagles or other government issue bullion coins, and they're almost as big. I think the reason why people don't like them is because, for stacking, is because they are a little bit less than an ounce. But in my opinion, they are such good investments when it comes to silver because they're lower premium than American Silver Eagles, but they have the opportunity to increase in numismatic value. They are historical, they're really cool, and you can collect them on top of stacking them in a much, much more interesting way than you can with, let's say, ASEs. So I think that there is still a ton of room for Morgan dollars to grow. And if we go even further and we start talking about how the collectibles market at large is growing, right, with Pokemon cards, Magic cards, all sorts of other collectibles, I think that once the general population gets into coins and gets into silver, Morgan dollars are going to go through the roof. So super underrated.
Peace dollars.
And yeah, peace dollars too. I think peace dollars are also underrated. Not in the same way as Morgan dollars. I think the ceiling on peace dollars is way, way lower, right? Morgan dollars can go really up into the millions of dollars if we're talking about Carson cities and we're talking about, high mint state coins. I don't think we're ever going to see that many There are so many Morgan dollars that are worth lots of money, much fewer peace dollars. But when we're talking about stacking peace dollars, the premium is even lower than Morgan dollars, and I don't understand why. They're beautiful coins, they're iconic, they're old, they're historical, and they're the same weight and fineness of Morgan dollars. So I don't really understand why people are willing to only pay less for them. So for me, I think that they are a great way to stack and a much, much better opportunity than, say, American Silver Eagles. So underrated as well.
Fractional silver bullion.
So I actually think that's totally different than fractional gold bullion, like the Goldback. I love fractional gold bullion, but fractional silver bullion is super overrated. In fact, I don't understand why anybody would buy fractional silver bullion at all. Now, I'm not talking about fractional silver bullion at or below spot, and I'm also not talking about junk silver like Roosevelt dimes or Mercury dimes. I'm talking about bullion, typically generic bullion that's a half ounce, a quarter ounce, or some other non-full ounce denomination. That is crazy to me because the premiums are through the roof. I see them at 50% over spot or more really, really frequently on all of these bullion dealer websites, and I just can't understand why anybody would buy that junk. I understand buying a half ounce of gold or a quarter ounce of gold or a 10th ounce of gold because buying a full ounce of gold is like $2,000 and most people who are on a budget can't just afford to drop that on a regular basis. But with silver bullion, anybody can afford to buy a 1 ounce coin, right? A fifth grader that decides to mow lawns or pick up bottles around their neighborhood can afford a $25 silver bullion round. So the idea that somebody out there is buying quarter ounces and half ounces because they need to, I just don't buy it. I think that it is a really, really weird part of silver stacking that it even exists, that there's any kind of market for it. But unless you're buying it at or below spot, avoid it and basically spend your hard-earned money on virtually any of the things I said were underrated or properly rated on this list.
Foreign junk silver.
Ah, there we go. Foreign junk silver, underrated. That is an easy one. Right now, you can go to most coin stores and look through their foreign junk bin, right? They have a foreign silver junk bin, and most of the time, you can buy that stuff at spot all day long. So on top of the fact that you're getting interesting coins from all over the world in all different parts of history, right? French coins from the 1800s, British coins from the 1920s, all sorts of foreign coins are available to you at spot. That is the best deal you can think of. The only reason why they're not popular is because they have so many different options that they're different purities. Some are 85.5%, some are 90%, some are sterling, all sorts of different purities, all different weights, all different countries, and it makes it a little bit harder to buy and sell them in an effective way. But if you're willing to take 5 minutes to do the research, look them up, and find out what they are, you can get silver for spot all day long. And I don't understand why more people aren't into that. Most of the people on YouTube that you see that are silver stackers are usually buying either totally buying constitutional American junk silver, or the only foreign stuff they're buying are like Maple Leaves or Libertads or other sort of 1 ounce bullion rounds made by governments. But very few are stacking weight when it comes to foreign silver coins, and I think that that's a mistake. So super, super underrated, great opportunity, especially for people that are stacking on a budget and want to find the best deals. How many more are there? Okay, last one.
Gold jewelry.
Gold jewelry, what a way to end. Gold jewelry is super underrated when it comes to stacking. Now, there are lots of ways to stack gold, right? We talked about them. There's tons and tons of different coins and bars and bullion and goldbacks, all sorts of stuff out there that is really obvious when it comes to stacking, right? For investment purposes. But what people seem to forget is that there is utility in gold, namely in jewelry. Why not enjoy your stack while you have it, right? We are all stacking for a rainy day. We're all stacking for an investment. We're all stacking for speculation to try and make some money. But if it's all just sitting locked away in a safe or a safety deposit box or even in your albums in your collection, it's not getting all the use that you could be getting out of it. And having jewelry that you can enjoy and wear is great. Right? You get a gold band for your watch, right? Even if you've got like an Apple Watch like mine, they sell gold bands that you can get for pretty good prices just a little bit over spot, similar to what you would pay for, say, a Goldback or a gold 1 ounce coin, right? So you can buy a gold band for your watch, or you could buy a bracelet or a necklace or earrings or whatever, and you can enjoy it. And that is a great, great use of your money because it is both an investment, a hedge against inflation, a store of wealth, and something that you can enjoy on a daily basis. And I think that that is taken for granted a lot, and that's why I think that gold jewelry is super, super underrated when it comes to stacking. And that's a wrap. That is the first inaugural episode of Underrated, Overrated Silver Stacker Edition with me, Silver Picker. This was so much fun. I loved talking about this stuff, so I am definitely gonna do more episodes. Now, if you disagreed with anything that I said, put it down in the comments below and let's duke it out down there because I'm pretty confident in what I said, but I'm curious to hear from you guys and I'm open-minded. Now, if there's anything you want me to cover in future episodes, put that down in the comments as well, because I've got a lot more ideas, but I want to hear from you guys too. Now, if you are a new viewer, you gotta hit that big old red subscribe button and that little bell next to it so you don't miss any of my videos. I make videos every single week about coin collecting, precious metals investing, personal finance, alternative investments, and much, much more. So if you don't want to miss a beat, come and join us for the ride. I got a lot more awesome stuff coming down the pike, but until then, stay tuned and Silver Picker out. A huge, huge thank you to all of my wonderful patrons. You guys are amazing, and you guys are certainly underrated because without you, this show would not happen. So thank you so, so much. If you are not yet a patron but would like to support the show, the links are below, and I would beyond appreciate it. And I can't wait to meet you in the Discord.